If I go to a McDonald House, somebody takes care not only of a child who's staying there, but she takes care of the whole family. And, that's just a beautiful idea.
Well, hey, everybody, this is Ray. I am here with the team from Ronald McDonald House. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Awesome. Nicole and Tom, could you guys introduce yourself? Nicole, go ahead first.
I'm Nikki Johnson. I work for a third-party IT consulting company, and I've had the pleasure of working with Ronald McDonald House for about the last 4 or 5 years, supporting them as an engineer, IT consultant. It's a place I always enjoy going because of all the good work that they do there.
And Thomas, how about you?
Yeah, so I'm Thomas. I'm the Chief Marketing and IT Officer, and I'm been here for about 10 years. And yeah, I'm very much involved in everything we do, and it's just a great place to work.
That's great. So the first question is, let's start with the basics. So tell me a little bit about Ronald McDonald House and when it was started.
Sure. The Ronald McDonald House was started here in Philadelphia in 1974. There was a doctor named Audrey Evans who saw how children were suffering and their families were suffering when they were being treated for cancer. So she realized that they needed a place to sleep because, they were sleeping in the hallways. If you were traveling for, more than 30 miles, it just became such a burden on these families. So that's when she had the idea. And she luckily met the Eagles, and the Eagles totally rallied behind her and helped her fundraise for the first house. So nowadays, it's been 50 years, and we try to help families wherever we can when it comes to their child's health. So we not only provide rooms, we provide food, we provide social services, such as we have social workers that make sure that they're okay. We have a tutoring program. We also have family rooms in the hospitals that they can go and just have coffee while they're in between appointments. And we also have a summer camp for children with cancer. And we have a mobile dental van that goes to North Philly schools and tries to provide that dental care that kids need.
That's amazing. So, to summarize, what would you say the purpose of the Ronald McDonald House is?
Sure. So we pretty much exist to help families throughout their children's healthcare journeys.
Okay, so it's not just the children. So did it initially start off where, Ronald McDonald House was found to support the children, give them a place to sleep, but now you're supporting all their families as well. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, originally, when we started, the children, the patients were staying at the hospital, right? Because they can't really leave. So the families had nowhere to stay. And, some families would have to sleep in their cars. Some would be sleeping in the hallway, sitting in really hard chairs. If you think about just going to a doctor's visit, right? It's not that comfortable, but imagine having to stay there for weeks, for months. It's not easy. So having a place where you can hang your hat for a night or 6 months or a full year, it makes a huge difference.
So do you know, you brought up, 6 months to a year. Do you know what the average stay is of a person, roughly?
Yeah, so for families, it's about 19 nights.
Okay.
But yeah, it varies. Some families will come for, a couple of nights. But yeah, we do have those families that will stay up for up to a year.
Wow. And is there any cost to these families staying, or is it completely absorbed by your organization?
No, we suggest, a $25 donation is suggested, but we realize that if you're staying here for more than a week, it just becomes expensive. Obviously, it's not like staying in a hotel, but, it adds up. If you're here for a year, those $25 will add up, and we're definitely not going to turn anyone away.
Okay. That's pretty amazing. How did you guys find out about TKW and text giving?
Ray, you came out to take a look at our facility at Ronald McDonald House for some proposed projects that we have had on our agenda for several years now, as knowing that these are things that could break at any moment, and it could be disastrous to the house as far as operations. For example, door access. We have several systems that are aging, and we don't have the budget for it, essentially, because they're major projects, major overhauls, and it becomes a little difficult because I think sometimes, and Thomas, you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the decisions come down to, hey, helping the families or putting tech in. And tech does help the families, but, when it comes down to the families' needs, those will take priority. And so, figuring out how to get these projects through for some very old equipment and systems has been a challenge for us. And so when we met, this was an opportunity that seemed like it could help with Ronald McDonald House as well.
Okay, that's great. So what kind of upgrades, feel like they're out of the reach for Ronald McDonald House right now based on those constraints? What things are you looking to get out of this opportunity?
I think there's a lot of room for conversation around that, but some things that we're aware of that we are looking to upgrade are cameras, some cabling, network stacks, switches, some additional Wi-Fi capacity, things of that nature, security. We're always looking, like, those are some of the systems that are aging, so we're trying to look at the options and see how we can upgrade some of those systems.
Okay. How old is the existing equipment that's in place now that is kind of aging out?
It varies depending on the system. I mean, some of them are more like 15 or plus years old, and I think we have some network gear that's 8 or 9 years old. So kind of at that point where it's out of support, out of updates, which is not ideal. We want to keep things up to date and secure. Those might be 8 to 10 years old. So,
the question that always sticks in people's minds, right? When we look at who we're going to give this amazing gift of technology to, we look at the financials as well. So tell me, with an organization as large as Ronald McDonald House, that is a global organization based in Philadelphia, or at least starting in Philadelphia. I don't know if it's based in Philadelphia. Please tell our members in our organization, why can't Ronald McDonald House fund this technology upgrade? Like, where is all of your funding going? Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So, yes, the Ronald McDonald House is a global organization, but each chapter fundraises for its own program. So, we can only fundraise within the Philadelphia community. We can't go and reach out to New York because that's where they need to raise funds. And most people think that our funding comes from McDonald's, which, we might get maybe 6%. And that's from people donating when they go purchase their meals. And we really appreciate that. But we have a pretty big budget. I mean, we help 147 families every night, 149 families every night. So it's pretty expensive. So when we're looking at our budget and we're thinking, okay, we have this aging system, but we also have to feed families. Hey, if that system can last us one more year, we're going to feed families first, right? So yeah, any relationship, any help is super appreciated. And it goes a really long way.
No, we appreciate that. And that's what we try to do, right? We try to look at organizations that are doing the most good, that just need our help so that they can do more good. And I would hate to know that there is an organization out there that is choosing, food over keeping the building secure, right? So this is kind of where TKW can come in. We can help with that piece so that you can continue doing the great stuff that you are doing for your community. And the fact that you're supporting, almost 150 families a night, that's insane. I can't even imagine what that cost looks like to feed that number of people, to heat, to cool, to, provide linen service. I'm assuming all of the things that you are doing at Ronald McDonald House. That's amazing. So let's talk about, if you were the recipient how would you support your local community with this gift of technology? How would that help?
Yeah. So, when families stay with us, they are so worried about their children, right? We try to make sure that everything else is taken care of so that they can just take care of themselves, take care of their children. We know that families who are supported, they'll fare a lot better throughout that journey. So if we're able to make sure that they're safe, that they feel safe, that they know that every time they walk in, they're scanning their card, so they know that, not anyone can just come in and perhaps steal. And, you think like, who would steal from the Ronald McDonald House? But it's happened. And yeah, we would just really just make sure that families are safe, that they feel safe in their rooms, and that, we got their back when they're here.
It's pretty amazing to go in as I'm not an employee or a staff member, and just see the amount of work that they do it's just amazing to me, and why I continue to support the organization, even if I'm not directly working with them in an official capacity. I also volunteer, because you walk in that kitchen and there's just, you see children playing, even though they're going through some really hard times, it provides them a space where their children can play, right? Because they're still children. They're sick, but they're still kids. They need to be kids. And just, how appreciative you see the families are who come from all over the country, and sometimes from other spaces in the world. And they're like, we couldn't have helped our kid without this. Like, it wouldn't have been possible. And it's just, you see the families, you meet them, and you hear their stories, and it's just like, one of the probably worst times of their lives, and they're just, without this support, the outcomes might have been very different for them.
So talk to me a little bit about your facility. So, how many rooms at your facility, how many office spaces are we looking at? Like, what would be if you could have the world handed to you from a technology standpoint, what are we looking at? Give me some numbers.
Yeah. So we have 127 rooms in West Philly. We have 20 rooms in North Philly. And we recently acquired 2 apartments that are near or West Philly location. So that's 149 families every night. So this equipment is going to make sure that they're safe every single night. And I think that you can add a little more.
Within the facility, right, we have essentially very similar to a hotel type of operation, where each room needs to be secured, key cards and security, tied into the security system. Cameras are an important part of security, because things, if they do go missing, maybe we can find it, or see what happened. Door access is very important to keep the facility secure in general. And the network, I believe, is a very important part, because families need to communicate with each other and their families back home and everything. And a lot of times they're doing that via online methods. Most people have cell phones, but not all of them. But by providing network access to the families, it's allowing them to do a lot of communication over Wi-Fi, keep everybody up to date with what's going on, and receive, important calls themselves about their children's health. So it's a pretty large network. We have 2 separate locations, so each of them have their firewall network and all of that, and Wi-Fi throughout the whole building. We have some ideas about expanding some of that coverage to some outdoor spaces, which was kind of a lofty goal for us, but we have some lovely outdoor spaces where I think the families, enjoy just being outdoors in the nice weather, that it would also help them, stay in touch. So again, a lot of that network gear is kind of aging where I'm looking at, hey, I can't get a new one. There's no support. There's no RMA. There's no firmware updates. And that's a space I usually try to stay out of, especially for a mission critical place. Ronald McDonald House is not a healthcare facility itself, but I think some of the urgency sometimes is similar due to the nature of our who stays there. So keeping that up to date is important to me, and dealing with some of the older systems, the card access and all that, that's throughout the whole building. And those systems, after they get 15 years old, you're kind of looking at patching it together and just doing what you can to keep it going.
Yeah, we completely understand that.
One other aspect of the network piece is that, imagine that you had to go abroad or to another city, right? To make sure that your child gets the best possible treatment. Well, you might lose your job because, how are you going to do everything that you need to do? Well, thankfully, now that technology is advanced, people can work from home a lot, right? So when they're here, having this network, this Wi-Fi helps a lot of families keep working. So, it's really invaluable for them when they stay with us.
That's a really good point that, honestly, I wouldn't have thought of either. People do have to work. And
we've set up a lot of families with internet access for work, making sure they can VPN, etc.
Yeah, that's really helpful. That's cool.
We see families, sitting there having their coffee, and it just relieves us because we know that they're still staying on top of, things that they need to do so that they can take care of their kids.
So tell me if you are the recipient of this project, and I think the answer is pretty simple, so I don't even know why I'm asking it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How is Ronald McDonald House going to pay it forward if they are the recipient of this project?
Yeah, so, we, in addition to helping families, whenever we can, if there's another community group who needs, for example, let's say a boardroom space to have a meeting, or we have a very nice theater where children can watch movies. If they need to come and host a larger meeting, they can do that here. So yeah, we're always looking to see how else we can help the community with the resources that we have on our hands.
So it's 50 years at Ronald McDonald House. This will be our 5th Thanksgiving. So I think that's really cool. It's a milestone for us. It's obviously a milestone for Ronald McDonald House. What are in the works? Like 50 years, what has that wisdom taught Ronald McDonald House that maybe you can share some of that wisdom with our community?
Learning from families is important. We can think that we know what it is that they need, but talking to them, doing surveys, we've learned a lot. Actually, when we built this new tower, we created mock rooms so that they could go in and tell us, this would actually be more helpful if this was set up this way. So we actually have rooms that are set up divided with a restroom in between so that, if a parent wants to watch a movie before they go to bed, the child can sleep. Or we will have 2 sinks, one inside the restroom and one outside so that, they can get ready for their appointments and, no one's kind of waiting for the other person. So, yeah, I think when you're looking at your mission is to really listen to the people that you're helping.
The parallel that I drive there for what we do is we do try really hard to design, things that are thoughtful and impactful, right? Yeah. So I think for this project and for all the ones that we've done previously, we as IT experts, we think we know what your business needs, right? But it's not until we sit and talk with you about how are you going to use that technology? How is it going to best serve your community that we can actually make that true, impactful, thoughtful design. So if 50 years has taught you guys to listen to your families, listen to your clients, hopefully the 5 years that TKW has been in place that we can truly learn to make sure that we're supporting our customers, our clients, and our recipients of these projects.
I also, in my role, I do like to keep, focused on what does the client need? What does the client want to do. And I guess we did learn over the past couple of years, Thomas and I have been working together. Free and cheap is sometimes the way to go. And then sometimes, when you're working on a shoestring budget and you're a nonprofit, you make choices and you get lots of help. And it's like being strategic about it, right? And like, where is help helpful and where is help causing you a big problem later on? And just keeping, being a little bit more strategic and planful to make sure we're doing the help that is helpful.
I agree.
I like that. Also that, when people are looking to donate, a lot of folks tend to gravitate to things that maybe sound sexier. I hate using that word, but really that's how it's seen, like maybe food, because it's something that's very concrete and easy to understand. But technology seems to be, behind the scenes. And I think if TKW understands that, how this would help us, if anyone understands how this would help us, is your organization, right? And your membership.
I sincerely hope so.
Because, you understand how important every single component is. But people who are not in IT, they might think, why should I be funding a network? What is
okay? No, I appreciate that. So any final thoughts? Anything else that you want to share about Ronald McDonald House, about yourselves, about your organization?
I think, it's one of those places that when you walk in it and experience it's kind of a whole, it's different than just the idea of it, right? Like when you walk in and see the children playing, or when you see a group of teenagers having fun, it just kind of makes the work meaningful, that you're actually directly helping so many families because of the volume that they do. It's amazing to watch the staff and how much they work to turn the rooms over so that they can fill the next need, because there's always more need. And just being able to support the organization to do the direct work to help them, it's just something incredible to see in person. And I hope that we could help them out.
That's great. Thomas, any other final thoughts?
Yeah, Rick, you mentioned that, you have membership all over the world. And I can only say on behalf of all the houses that, we invite your membership to come visit us. It really, once you walk in, like Nikki said, your perspective completely changes, because you see how concrete and meaningful it is right away. Just from what we hear from families say is that, you're packing up, you're getting ready to make sure that your kid's okay in a hospital somewhere else in the world. And you don't really know what you're going to walk into, right? But I've heard that once they walked in and they get a tour of the house, it's just like a huge burden, a huge stress, just leaves their body. So, I hope your membership can come visit us.
No, I appreciate that. And, it's funny you say that, because the one thing that we found at all of our projects that we do is we tell the recipient that you may think you're ready for us, but you're not ready for us. When, 50, 60 to 100 people from all across the country, all across the world come to your facility to pull cable, hang cameras, fix, access control, add Wi-Fi, watching so many people with different talents come together at your facility, and literally it's extreme home makeover is really what it is. But seeing that many people come together in that short period of time to do all of that work, it blows our recipients away, because it's just something you've never seen before. So I hope you guys are ready for that. That's going to be something interesting.
Sounds amazing.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys getting on. And we'll talk next step soon.
That's why I came to Philadelphia, to take care of children with cancer, because at the time I came, there wasn't much else you could do but care.
What do you think when you think about the things you've done?
I was given a mission, and I was given the ability to serve it.
And what was that mission?
Make a difference in the lives of children.